Morning. How y'all doing today? Well, my name's Tom, and I'm just a rambling Christian. Now, if this is the first time you've been here, please stick around. We look at the Bible a little different around here. Now, typically before I get started, I like to ramble just a little bit. Now, we finished the last Gnostic I was doing, the Apocalypse of Adam. Now, I've got several more. Yesterday I didn't do a video. I got caught reading all day, and wow, what I found was, well, it was pretty good. I tell you, the difference between reading the book in the flesh and reading the book in the spirit is totally different. My wife and I were speaking of it yesterday, of how much more you get from the spirit than you do from the flesh. And I've got the revelations of quite a few of the patriarchs and stuff now. I downloaded all the lost books, the Nag Hammadi Code Index. I got all those, and I got the Book of Jasser and all the Apocrypha, whatever. But what I want to do, I only have 18 more chapters in this Enoch here, and I want to kind of get through those, and then I want to jump off into the second Enoch and a few of these other writings. I don't know exactly where I'm going to go, but just to, I got the second Apocalypse of James and quite a few others. If any of you have an idea what you'd like to hear, just let me know. And but it is, wow, a lot of these are called false, and were taken away from church. And we can see as we're going here through Enoch that the shepherds are killing the sheep. Okay, and where we left off in Enoch was 89:68 through 71, and there's only 108 chapters in this book of Enoch, so we're not too far off. So I'm not even going to jump into any readings or anything like that. For the next couple days, until I can finish this book, we'll be just jumping in Enoch, because I really want to get to those others. And to be honest, I haven't decided which one I want to read first, because wow, the information is just, for 30 years, I only use the Holy Bible, the King James version, and the New King James I got, I don't know, maybe 8-9 years ago I got a New King James. But I cannot believe how much was hidden from us and taken from us. We have so much of the Spirit contained within the writings. I don't know, that seems to scare people. And it even says, I found in the Revelation of Asher, was it? That it even talks of the two-sided message contained within the Bible. And it is 10th son of Jacob and Jephthah, Asher. And it says, I'm going to just hit on this just a little bit. The copy of the testament to Asher, what things he spake to his sons in 125th year of his life. While he was still in health, he said to them, Hearken, ye children of Asher, to your father, and I will declare to you all that is upright in the sight of God. Now listen to this. 2 ways hath God given to the sons of men, and 2 inclinations, and 2 kinds of action, and 2 modes of action, and 2 issues. Therefore all things are by twos, one over the other. For there are 2 ways of good and evil, and with these are the 2 inclinations in our breast, discriminating them. Therefore if the soul takes pleasure in the good inclination, all its actions are in righteousness. And if it sin, it straightway repenteth. For having its thoughts set upon righteousness and casting away wickedness, it straightway overthroweth the evil and uprooteth sin. But if it incline to the evil inclination, all its actions are in wickedness, and it driveth away the good, and cleaveth to the evil, and is ruled by Belair. Even though it work what is good, it perverteth to evil. Now, even if they're doing good, it is converted to evil. That's church. They have the spirit of Cain. They think they're doing so good, but they have turned over to Cain. And it says that contained within this. And I don't want to get too heavy into it, but more than one of these speaks of the dual message that is contained within the scriptures. And for some reason, I feel that the people who were in charge of putting the Bible together, perhaps it was done maliciously, with evil intent. Now, I have recently learned that the whole book of Moses is a parable, and the 5 books that he wrote are all parables. Now, I've been reading them as in the spirit here lately, and you can see the difference contained within the writings. But all of this is spoken of in so many different places that there's 2 messages within the Bible. It is a 2-edged sword. I say that. It has good and evil. If you're reading just the flesh side, you are in the evil side. Okay? Until you get to the spirit of it, you will never be saved. You're lost. And you're going to be one of these dudes we're talking about here in Enoch that are going to be just cast aside and destroyed. And soon that's coming. The shepherds are going to be destroyed. And the shepherd, here, let's jump onto this, 68 through 71. The first period of the angelic rulers from the destruction of Jerusalem to the return from captivity. Okay, so this is not coming out of Egypt. This is the destruction of Jerusalem, moving forward until we are pulled from captivity. Okay, and captivity is right here in this body. And the shepherds and their associates deliver over those sheep to all the wild beasts to devour them. And each one of them received in his time a definite number. It was written by the other in a book, how many each of them destroyed of them. And each one slew and destroyed many more than was prescribed. And I began to weep and lament on account of those. See, that's church telling all the world they're going to hell with no discernment at all. You have no stories of the people you're trying to condemn. You condemn people for stupid crap like, oh man, they smoke cigarettes, they're going to hell. Like you have that right. You see, you are killing way more than the Lord allows, okay? You're supposed to judge righteously by saying somebody, just blowing people off just because of what you see with your eyes and not hear with your spirit. You're condemned. You're going to hell. You're not going to be saved. And actually, you're going to go through the destruction in which we talk about. This guy I've been watching. Not watching, really. It just, he comes across on my timeline. And I subscribed to him a while back, and then I blew him off. But even yesterday, he thought the rapture was going to happen yesterday. I tell you, there is no rapture, okay? And if there was a rapture, it would be the world and the church would be left behind. Yeah, the 3 religions that are fighting would be the only people on the planet, okay? Everybody else will get the heck up and out of here. Yeah, because all the evil people are called to religion. That's what it says within the Bible, okay? So church thinks they have control of who's the judge. No, Islam is the judge of the flesh, okay? Not you. They are the rod. Now, let's move on to 70 here. And thus in a vision I saw that one who wrote, and how he wrote down every one that was destroyed by those shepherds. The church are the shepherds, the overseers. Paul says within the Bible that the overseers will take the message from the flock. Okay? The shepherds will take the message from the truly saved people. And Paul was hoping to be included within their salvation, not his own. It was not his salvation. Okay? He did not have salvation. The way he thought he was going to get salvation is by taking care of the flock, not by just being a believer in Jesus Christ. And I actually have a couple more from Paul within the writings that I have. That's why I don't know where to start, because the message has been so lost, and I did not realize there's 88 books supposedly in the Bible. And then you got other writings that were just blown off because people can't read the spirit contained within them. Until you get off the milk, you should just keep your mouth shut. That is the best. Paul says all should be teachers. That means that you should be looking at the spirit side of it, not the flesh side of it. The flesh side is the milk. Okay? The meat is the spirit. When you can eat meat, you will be saved. Now, and thus in the vision I saw one who wrote, how he wrote down every one that was destroyed by those shepherds day by day, and carried up and laid down and showed actually the whole book to the Lord of the sheep. The Lord of the sheep is Jesus Christ. Even everything that they had done and that each one of them had made way with, and all that they had given over to destruction. And the book was read before the Lord of the sheep, and he took the book from his hand and read it and sealed it and laid it down. Now this is 72 through 77. Second period from the time of Cyrus to that of Alexander the Great. From Cyrus to Alexander the Great. And forthwith I saw how the shepherds pastured for 12 hours. And behold, 3 of those sheep turned black, and came and entered, and began to build up all that had fallen down of that house. But the wild boars tried to hinder them, but they were not able. And they began again to build as before, and they reared up that tower, and it was named the High Tower. And they began again to place a table before the tower, but all the bread on it was polluted and not pure. And was touching all this, the eyes of those sheep were blinded, so that they saw not, and the eyes of their shepherds likewise. See? It's saying here that the world is blind. And that is truth, because the shepherds are blind also. The blind leading the blind. You know, the truth of the matter is that Jesus Christ washed away the sins of every living soul for all time, not just the church. You see, the church is under the law. You have been convicted and judged of the sins you've had in the past. And until you realize that and wake up to the fact that you are the evil ones that the Bible speaks of, Jesus is labeled the serpent, and you have picked it up, and you have become the dragon. Okay? You are killing everybody but yourself. 42,000 different denominations on the planet, 200 contained within the U.S. You're not going. It says within the Bible, and I cover it 150 videos ago, that there is no denominations within God's word. There is none. Zero. It says what it says, word for word. You don't move off of that. Okay? It's word for word true. Anybody who opens their mouth and says that's not what it says is a lying fool. That's it. That's all they are. Church is really getting on my nerves. I'm sorry. I can feel that it's getting close. And it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good for anybody in the world when the destruction comes, because there's going to be collateral damage from it. Now, I don't know how much damage, but it seems pretty bad. Meteors, nuclear weapons, World War III happening, and it's going to hit the U.S. this time. So we have no idea of how bad it's really going to be. We should be saving souls, not condemning souls. That's the whole point of being a Christian, is to save souls. I just don't understand the message anymore, I guess. Never did I ever think that, now I knew church, I used to think church was the way. But I could never sit in church because I always knew the Word of God, and I knew they were lying fools up front, telling people lies. Straight up lies. Especially this faith alone garbage. I don't agree with faith alone. The Bible doesn't agree with faith alone. The Lord doesn't agree with faith alone. Nobody agrees with that except for the church. And there's many out there that are doing the Lord's will and don't profess Jesus. But you can still see Jesus in them. They don't even know it, and you were supposed to tell them that. And they delivered them in large numbers to their shepherds for destruction. And they trampled the sheep with their feet and devoured them. And the Lord of the sheep remained unmoved till all the sheep were dispersed over the field and mingled with them. The beast, and they example the shepherds did not save them out of the hands of the beasts. This is a direct message to the church. Man, maybe that's why it's hitting me so hard. They did not save them out of the hands of the beast. And this one, who wrote the book, carried it up and showed it and read it before the Lord of the sheep, and implored him on their account. And they besought him on their account, as he showed him all the doings of the shepherds, and gave testimony before him against all the shepherds. And he took the actual book and laid it down beside him and departed. Next with chapter 90. You see that? I am a witness. Yeah, that is true. I see what y'all do. And I am a witness. I've said it. Many videos. Many. This is 91 through 5. Third period, from Alexander the Great to Greco-Syrian domination. And I saw till that in this manner 35 shepherds undertook the pasturing of the sheep, and they severely completed their periods. Severally completed their periods, as did the first, and the others received them into their hands to pasture them for their period, each shepherd in his own period. And I saw till that in this manner 35 shepherds undertook the pasturing of the sheep. So I tell you, people are called. This is after death here. Pasturing those sheep. You get them all. We don't leave people behind. Wow. Pastoring for a period. I have visions of, not visions, I have memories, visions and memories, I guess, of a time when we were taught by the Father. It says that. And after that, I saw in my vision all the birds of heaven coming, the eagles, the vultures, the kites, the ravens. But the eagles led all the birds, and they began to devour those sheep, and to pick out their eyes, and devour their sheep, their flesh. And the sheep cried out, because their flesh was being devoured by the birds. And as for me, I looked and lamented in my sleep over that shepherd who pastured the sheep. And I saw until those sheep were devoured by the dogs and the eagles and the kites, that they left neither flesh nor skin nor sinew remaining on them, till only their bones stood there. And their bones too fell to the earth, and the sheep became few. Many are called, few chosen. And I saw until that 23 had undertaken the pasturing and completed in their several periods 58 times. 58 times. And this is 6 through 12. The fourth period, from Greco-Syrian domination to the Maccabean revolt. Also, I have all the Maccabees too. But behold, the lambs were born by those white sheep. Behold, the lambs were born by those white sheep. And they began to open their eyes and to see and to cry to the sheep. Yea, they cried to them, but they did not hearken to what they said to them, but were exceedingly deaf, and their eyes were very exceedingly blinded. And I saw in the vision how the ravens flew up to those lambs and took one of those lambs, and dashed the sheep in pieces and devoured them. And I saw till horns grew upon the lambs, those lambs, and the ravens cast down their horns. And I saw till there sprouted a great horn of one of those sheep, and their eyes were open. And it looked at them, and their eyes opened. And it cried to the sheep, and the rams saw it, and all ran to it. And notwithstanding all this, those eagles and vultures and ravens and kites still kept tearing the sheep, and swooping down upon them and devouring them, till the sheep remained silent. But the rams lamented and cried out, and those ravens fought and battled with it, and sought to lay low its horns, but they had no power over it. Wow. The last assault of the Gentiles on the Jews. Now, there's 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Alright. And I saw till the shepherds and the eagles and those vultures and kites came, and they cried to the ravens that they should break the horn of the ram. And they battled and fought with it, and it battled with them, and cried that its help might come. And I saw till that man who wrote down the names of the shepherds and carried up into the presence of the Lord of the sheep came and helped it, and showed it everything he had come down for the help of that ram. And I saw till the Lord of the sheep came unto them in wrath, and all who saw him fled, and they all fell into his shadow from before his face. All the eagles and the vultures, ravens and kites were gathered together, and they came with them, all the sheep of the field, yea, they all came together and helped each other to break the horn of the ram. And I saw that man who wrote the book according to the command of the Lord, till he opened that book concerning the destruction which those 12 last shepherds had wrought, and showed that they had destroyed much more than their predecessors, before the Lord of the sheep. See, I read in one place where the apostles say that there was apostles before them. You see, you've killed too many. Wow. The last 12. That's the 12 right now. We've read through where I told you I felt like they were different aspects of periods in time. The Lord of this world has been here since the beginning, and this world is billions of years old, millions of years old, whatever. The whole thing. He's been here since the beginning. And church likes to deny. They say that the universe is 6 days old. You'd have to be an idiot to believe that. You'd have to really be an idiot. You know, that denies everything. God gave you a brain for a reason. Use it. You know, that's just... And I saw till the Lord of the sheep came unto them, and took in his hand the staff of his wrath, and smote the earth, and the earth clave asunder, and all the beasts and all the birds of the heaven fell from among those sheep, and were swallowed up in the earth, and it covered them. Wow. Judgment of the fallen angels, the shepherds, and the apostates. Wow. Judgment for the shepherds. That's church. Fallen angels, Islam. The apostates, Jews. And I saw till a throne was erected in the pleasant land, and the Lord of the sheep sat himself thereon. And the other took the sealed books, and opened those books before the Lord of the sheep. And the Lord called those men the 7 first white ones, and he commanded that they should bring before him, beginning with the first star which led the way, all the stars whose privy members were like those of horses. And they brought them before him. And he said to that man who wrote before him, being one of those 7 white ones, and said unto him, Take those 70 shepherds, to whom I delivered the sheep, and whom, taking them on their own authority, slew more than I commanded them. The 7 white ones are the 7 I speak of. I'm looking for 2, waiting on 4. Looking for 4, waiting on 2, looking for 4. And behold, they were all bound, I saw, and they all stood before him. And the judgment was held first over the stars, and they were judged and found guilty, and went to a place of condemnation, and they were cast into the abyss, full of fire, and flaming, and full of pillars of fire. And those 70 shepherds were judged and found guilty, and they were cast into the fiery abyss. And I saw at that time how like the abyss was opened in the midst of the earth, full of fire. And they brought those blinded sheep, and they were all judged and found guilty, and cast into the fiery abyss, and they burned. Now the abyss was to the right of that house. And I saw those sheep burning, and their bones burning. These are all the sheep that were blind, because church. Now everybody comes back. Everybody gets another chance. Until you end up in Judaism. This is 90, 28 through 38. The New Jerusalem, the conversion of the surviving Gentiles, the resurrection of the righteous, the Messiah. I'm going to grab a little more coffee, and then we'll jump on to this. I don't know why, but every time I speak of how the church treats the world, it really takes me off. And I could never get over that, because so many, I say it all the time, the world crushes people. you know, we don't know anybody's story unless you take the time to get to know somebody, you know. And I know a lot of people in church that are going to hell, a lot. And when I speak of hell, I mean Judaism, okay? Because they are that daggum hard-headed about everybody else is going to hell but them. You know, only their denomination. And even some people, it's like only our church is going. You know, everybody else, like there's going to be 12 people up in heaven and nobody else is going. It's, and for those of you in church, get the heck up and out of there. Quit paying unbiblical money to some fictitious, made-up dude. It's not anything like that at all. Now, this is 28 through 38. The New Jerusalem, the conversion of the surviving Gentiles. Surviving. See, I tell you, there's going to be a message after this destruction, which is going to happen in between the 8th and the 8th, I think, somewhere in there. And then 2 weeks after that is Passover. So we got a lot coming within this. The Bible says the first part of the war lasts 5 months. That would be March 8th, April 8th, the eclipse. And then 2 weeks after that, another 14 days after that, they're going to Passover, and they're going to sacrifice the red heifer. And commence on the third temple, I guess. They got to cleanse, which is 6.4 years. And then that puts us right at 2030. Right on time for the, I'm going to have to look that date up. Because they only go by 360 days a year, except for some years. So I want to look that date up in 2030 and see if it matches the 6.4 years. I might have to look that up. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to look that up. Just write a little note. I got a lot going in my head, man. Sometimes it's hard to remember. And it says, and I stood up to see till they folded up that old house and carried off all the pillars and all the beams and ornaments of the house were at the same time folded up with it. And they carried it off and laid it in a place in the south of the land. And I saw till the Lord of the sheep brought a new house, greater and loftier than the first, and set it up in the place of the first, which had been folded up. Typo. And all its pillars were new, and its ornaments were new and larger than those of the first. The one which he had taken away, and all the sheep were within it. And I saw all the sheep which had been left, and all the beasts on the earth, and all the birds of the heaven falling down and doing homage to those sheep, and making petition to and obeying them in everything. And thereafter those three who were clothed in white, and had seized me by my hand, who had taken me up before, and the hand of that ram also, seizing hold of me, they took me up and set me down in the midst of those sheep before the judgment took place. And those sheep were all white, and their wool was abundant and clean. And all that had been destroyed and disappeared, and all the beasts of the field and all the birds of heaven assembled in that house. And the Lord of the sheep rejoiced with great joy, because they were all good and had returned to his house. And I saw till they laid down that sword. Wow. Oh, man. See, this is in them writings, too, that I was reading yesterday. It says church brings that sword. You know what I'm saying? Wow. But it held them not. And the eyes of them were all were opened, and they saw the good, and there were not one among them that did not see. And I saw that house was large and broad and very full. And I saw that a white bull was born, with large horns, and all the beasts of the field and all the birds of the air feared him, and made petition to him all the time. And I saw, till all their generations were transformed, and they all became white bulls. The first among them became a lamb, and that lamb became a great animal. That lamb became a great animal, and had great black horns on its head. And the Lord of the sheep rejoiced over it, and over all the oxen. And I slept in their midst, and I awoke and saw everything. This is the vision which I saw while I slept. And I awoke and blessed the Lord of righteousness, and gave him glory. Then I wept with great weeping, and my tears stayed not till I could no longer endure it. When I saw they flowed on account of what I had seen, for everything shall come and be fulfilled, and all the deeds of men in their order were shown to me. On that night I remembered the first dream, and because of it I wept and was troubled, because I had seen that vision. Wow. The concluding section of the book. Enoch's book of admonition for his children. This is a 92, and it's 92 through 91. The book written by Enoch. Enoch indeed wrote this complete doctrine of wisdom, which is praised of all men and judged of all the earth, for all my children who shall dwell on the earth, and for the full future generations who shall observe uprightness and peace. Peace. U.S. No, we do not honor peace. Because war brings money to this country. Because, we've given all our money away. Let not your spirit be troubled on account of the times, for the Holy and Great One has appointed days for all things. And the righteous one shall arise from sleep, shall arise and walk in the paths of righteousness, and all his path and conversation shall be in eternal goodness and grace. He will be gracious to the righteous, and he will give him eternal uprightness, and he will give him power, so that he shall be endowed with goodness and righteousness, and he shall walk in eternal light. And sin shall perish in darkness forever, and shall no more be seen from that day evermore. Wow. Enoch's admonition to his children in this chapter. It says, I don't know why it's 91 and we read 92. Maybe they swapped them around because they thought they went better. And now, my son Methuselah, call to me thy brothers, and gather together to me all the sons of thy mother, for the word calls me. Wow. And the Spirit is poured out upon me, that I may show you everything that shall befall you forever. Well, now why? Why would he say to them that will befall for you forever? If they don't keep coming back. And even Paul's, I think, I read so many yesterday, but he's asking, in which body did I commit these sins? And that's thrown out, because that right there, in which body, which incarnation did I do these sins? Wow. And thereupon Methuselah went and summoned to him all his brothers and assembled his relatives. And he spake unto all the children of righteousness and said, Hear ye, sons of Enoch, all the words of your father, and hearken all right to the voice of my mouth. For I exhort you and say unto you, beloved, love righteousness, love up righteousness, and walk therein, and draw not nigh to uprightness with a double heart. There's man, everything speaks of that dual message within it. And associate not with those of a double heart, church, but walk in righteousness, my sons, and it shall guide you on good paths, and righteousness shall be your companion. For I know that violence must increase on the earth, and a great chastisement be executed on the earth, and all unrighteousness come to an end. Unrighteousness comes to an end. Yea, it shall be cut off from its root, and its whole structure be destroyed. And unrighteousness shall again be consummated on the earth, and all the deeds of unrighteousness and of violence and transgression shall prevail in a twofold degree. It says more than once. Twofold degree. And when sin and unrighteousness and blasphemy and violence and all kinds of deeds increase, and apostasy and transgression and uncleanliness increase, a great chastisement shall come from heaven upon all these, and the Holy Lord will come forth with wrath and chastisement to execute judgment on earth. In those days violence shall be cut off from its root, and its root of unrighteousness together with deceit, and they shall be destroyed from under heaven. And all the idols of the heathen shall be abandoned, and the temples burned with fire. The heathen have temples. You would think heathens were out in the world, And they shall remove them from the whole earth. This has happened before. You see all the pyramids, all that kind of stuff. This is not the first time this creation has made it this far. Some creations actually have left. Wow. And all the idols of they're up there. And all the idols of the heathen shall be abandoned, and the temples burned with fire, and they shall remove them from the whole earth. No religion like that at all. And they, the heathen, shall be cast into the judgment of fire, and shall perish in wrath and in grievous judgment forever. And the righteous shall arise from their sleep, and wisdom shall arise and be given unto them. I'm telling you, she's calling out right now, right here. That's right. And the righteous shall rise from their sleep. That's whom I'm looking for, the few, right there. And the wisdom shall arise and be given unto them. That's Sophia. She is wisdom. Sophia Zoe is life. Yeah. And after that, the roots of unrighteousness shall be cut off, and the sinners shall be destroyed by the sword. Sinners shall be destroyed by the sword. Church, right? Because they're the only sinners. They have been judged already. They have been called to church, and they are the ones that are causing this war. Because we're going against Muslims, because they're against our beliefs. We're going against them. It's a religious war. Has nothing to do with anything else other than I'm right, you're wrong. That's it. And greed from Judaism. They are a greedy people, are they not? They think, And after that, the roots of unrighteousness shall be cut off, and the sinners shall be destroyed by the sword. shall be cut off from the blasphemers in every place, and those who plan violence and those who commit blasphemy shall perish by the sword. And now I tell you, my sons, and I show you the paths, plural, of righteousness, and the paths of violence. Yeah, I will show them to you again, that ye may know what will come to pass. And now hearken unto me, my sons, and walk in the path of righteousness, and walk not in the paths of violence. For all who walk in the path of unrighteousness shall perish forever. And how you perish is that forgetfulness is put upon you. Everything is taken from you, and then the Spirit will never wake you up because you don't have it within inside. You're just one of the people that God uses to get the righteous to Him. This is 93, the apocalypse of weeks. And after that, Enoch both gave and began to recount from the books. And Enoch said, concerning the children of righteousness, and concerning the elect of the world, and concerning the plant of uprightness, I speak these things, yea, I Enoch will declare them unto you, my sons, according to that which appeared to me in the heavenly vision, and which I have known through the word of the holy angels, and I have learnt from the heavenly tablets. And Enoch began to recount from the books, and said, I was born the 7th in the 1st week, while judgment and righteousness still endured. Pre-flood, the Lord of this world destroyed them because they did not follow Him. They did not. That's the writings say that. It did not turn out the way He wanted it to. These spirits that we were allowed, that we brought with us and brought to us, were not part of His plan. And after me there shall arise in the 2nd week great wickedness, and deceit shall have sprung up, and in there shall be the first end. And in it a man shall be saved, in it a man shall be saved, and after it is ended unrighteousness shall grow up, and a law shall be made for the sinners, the book. And after that, in the 3rd week, at its close, a man shall be elected as the plant of righteousness, of righteous judgment, and his posterity shall become the plant of righteousness evermore. Plant righteous judgment. I believe that would be his posterity shall become a plant of righteousness forevermore, Jesus Christ. And after that, in the 4th week, at its close, visions of the holy and righteous shall be seen, and a law for all generations, and an enclosure shall be made for them. And after that, in the 5th week, at its close, the house of glory and dominion shall be forever. And after that, the 6th week, all who live in it shall be blinded, and the hearts of all them shall godlessly forsake wisdom. It's just repetitive, guys. And in it a man shall ascend, and at its close the house of dominion shall be burnt with fire, and the whole race of the chosen root shall be dispersed. And after that, in the 7th week, shall an apostate generation arise, and many shall be in its deeds, and all its deeds shall be apostate, and at its close shall And at its close shall be elected, the elect righteous, and the eternal plant of righteousness, to receive sevenfold instruction concerning all his creation. Then it says, at its close shall be elected, the elect righteous, of the eternal plant of righteousness, to receive sevenfold instruction concerning all his creation. For who is there of all the children of men that is able to hear the voice of the Holy One without being troubled? And who can think his thoughts? And who is there who can behold all the works of heaven? And how should there be one who could behold the heaven? And who is there that could understand the things of heaven, and see a soul or a spirit, and could tell thereof, or ascend and see all their ends, and think of them, or do not like them, or do like them? And who is there of all men that could know what is the breadth and the length of the earth, and to whom has been shown the measure of all of them? Or is there any one who could discern the length of the heaven, and how great is its height, and upon what it is founded, and how great is the number of the stars, and where all the luminaries rest? This is not the stars in heaven. Luminaries are gods, stars are people. Great luminaries have multiple stars. They are God. And after that there shall be another, the 8th week, that of righteous. Wow, righteousness. And a sword shall be given to it, that a righteous judgment may be executed on the oppressors, and the sinners shall be delivered into the hands of the righteous. And a sword shall be given to it, that a righteous judgment may be executed on the oppressors. That's going on right now. Islam has the sword. Palestine is just barely, this is all just barely started. Even Netanyahu is speaking of post-war. Next month. And sinners shall be delivered into the hands of the righteous. The reason why I say Islam is the righteous, they have already been guaranteed eternal life, so they're righteous. It says it within the Quran, and I know, and I've told you more than once, that the 3 religions on the planet work for the Lord of this world. And after that, in the 9th week, the righteous judgment shall be revealed to the whole world, and all the works of the godless shall vanish from all the earth, and the world shall be written down for destruction. And after this, in the 10th week, in the 7th part, 10th week and 7th part, there shall be the great eternal judgment, in which he will execute vengeance amongst the angels. And the first heaven shall depart and pass away, and a new heaven shall appear, and all the powers of the heavens shall give sevenfold light. And after that there will be many weeks without number forever, and all shall be in goodness and righteousness, and sin shall no more be mentioned forever. I'm telling you, first heaven shall depart, and a new heaven shall appear, a new Jerusalem shall appear, and all the powers of the heavens will give light. Melchizedek, right? That's when it comes. Now this is chapter 94 And I'm going to hold off there for today. And we can see the judgment is coming, and it's speaking of this time right now. And it's really getting into it. And then I think we pass it up in the next one. But we'll see what happens. It says after this, you get 1,000 years of peace, and then Satan will be released upon the earth again. And that is Judaism. Okay? So, anybody got an idea of where I should go? Because I'm reading so many of them for the next book. But if you got something particular you want to hear about, let me know. And we'll take a look at it. But church is gone. I can see that. That's not where the righteous are going to come from. The righteous are going to come from the world. They're not going to come from church. Church has been judged by their blindness. And like I said, I was called to the book. I wasn't called to church. They've been called to the church. Okay? It's a big difference. If you've been called to the book, defeat it. You can do it. If you've been called to church, wow, you'll get another chance. May the Holy Spirit guide you. May God, the Father, the Creator of it all, protect your soul.